Hello there.
Yu-Gi-Oh might be dying.
One could only wish. Okay, that should be good. React Andy time. So, there's been a couple of videos about how Yu-Gi-Oh is dying, and I've been dying to watch them. But I'm very opinionated about these videos specifically. So, I thought I would watch them on stream so that I could give my opinions in real time. I haven't watched this one yet. According to MBT, Jesse Kottons Yu-Gi-Oh's in Trouble video is the best of the bunch. Duel Masters should come back to America, but nobody played Duel Masters. Also, hello there, Loser Luis over on YouTube. Okay, so Yu-Gi-Oh's Trouble by Jesse Kottons Yu-Gi-Oh.
It's a tough thing to say out loud, but over the last many years, people have been saying Yu-Gi-Oh is dying, Yu-Gi-Oh's done for, and we've had YouTubers post online saying this is the end, pro players leaving, and whatnot. Oftentimes, this is sparked by a bad format, or by one player leaving, or a new card game being announced as competition.
So, I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh since, wait, I just forgot. I should probably turn up the desktop sound a little bit. I've been playing since it came out in like 2002, and they have always been saying that Yu-Gi-Oh is dying. This isn't anything new. It's such like a misnomer that it's just noise at this point.
But
what is the line? You don't like the line? I mean, I can turn it off. I think. It's one of these. No, the line is still there. Okay, never mind. I don't know how to turn it off.
Always tried to look past that and dismiss most of it as being somewhat irrelevant. But I think
why does it say jump ahead?
Problem now. You see, highlight specifically at first, Team APS.
Sorry, I just had to click on it. I didn't know why it was giving me the jump ahead button. Theme. Well, at least blue is better.
Online, or really been involved heavily in the Yu-Gi-Oh space, or maybe just a Master Duel player. You may have not really noticed what's happening here, but people are catching on. People realize it's a problem, and I wanted to highlight specifically at first Team APS's Twitter post that ended up starting this kind of drama. I would like to note this is something that vendors like myself have a problem, and I wanted to highlight specifically at first Team APS's Twitter.
So you see this right here? Normally they go for $75 a box. So going down to $46 is a ginormous decrease.
Post that ended up starting.
Just to give some context.
Kind of drama. I would like to note this is something that vendors like myself have noticed for months now, and we've been hoping that we'd get over this rough patch. It just seems to continue. Anyways, let's get to what Paul had to say. Yu-Gi-Oh boxes don't seem to have much value lately.
Yeah, they're selling it at cost.
Green duelist set, which are typically known for being a big.
So when it comes to boxes and stuff, you actually are not allowed to buy them at cost unless you own a physical like brick and mortar store. They just will not sell you it at cost. That's why they have. Is it kind of echoey? I can turn down the volume so it's not coming out of my computer. They that's why like they have those Pokemon people who will rush to like Costco to buy out all the boxes, because they don't let you buy them like wholesale like you can pretty much everything else. $70 is way too much. No, it's like $75 each. I truly believe Konami treats everybody else like the Japanese OCG with prices. No one would be saying Yu-Gi-Oh is dying. You mean where it's like reasonably priced and they actually like sell a whole bunch? You thought the echo was intentional? No, I just don't have headphones.
Deal. Is this a cause for concern?
Well, I do have headphones. I just don't want to put them on. I can if the echo is still there.
So there is a stigma in Yu-Gi-Oh that if the set has Duelist in the name and it has a green box, then therefore it must be a good set. Duelist Revolution, for example, all the way back in 2010, included Effect Veiler, Solemn Warning, Pot of Duality, Scrap Dragon, Stygian Street Patrol, many fantastic cards. There's been others since then as well, and I think before that as well, that my memory truthfully evades because I'm not a huge believer in this type of nonsense. But either way, let's look at the price here, and you can see that it's at $47. And Paul actually posted this, at least the time of my recording. You can see the bottom right.
Just slightly.
So I'm recording this on the 16th.
There shouldn't be an echo.
This was already almost 2 weeks ago. And if you bought a Yu-Gi-Oh box in the past, you'll know that's pretty cheap. Now, comparatively to what you may pay for a box from a distributor, this is less. And those card stores are paying more per box than they're selling for a TCG player. And you know, the price on TCG player includes fees, right? So that's going to be around 10%. And then the shipping price, which depending on where you have to ship to, could be $5 to $7, let's say, but obviously can vary a little more. And if you think about all that, you're losing a significant margin now on Yu-Gi-Oh products. When the boxes go this low, you run into a couple problems. For example, one of the most notable players in Yu-Gi-Oh's history did respond to this, Jeff Jones, who also works closely with other card stores and has managed one in the past. He has some explanations for this, but importantly, this is the thing that's going to matter the most. As a store, we've made the decision to stop buying most Yu-Gi-Oh sealed products over the next year. There's no excuse for stores to keep getting burned on product they can't move, and that happens. When the prices go down like this, people order less. And when they order less, the local scenes will suffer, and you'll have stores stop supporting Yu-Gi-Oh! And then the community starts to crumble. And there are more casual players or semi-competitive players than there are truly competitive players like myself, or even the people who only go to 1 or 2 YCS a year, right? Those still aren't the majority. So numbers will fall from the base level first, and then it'll trickle up, but that's a huge problem. That's the future of the game. That's the base of the game. It's scary, right? Because those people will stop playing because they have nowhere to play, of nowhere to buy cards. Now, it's also a bit of a debate in terms of the cause and effect here, right? You could say that maybe we are seeing what, say, Jeff is saying here at the start. When you're competing with Magic breaking sales from clouds like the Sonic or the Avatar, the Final Fantasy, Pokemon One Piece have been dominating as well. Maybe the alternatives in every other game just feeling better than Yu-Gi-Oh right now.
So the
from clouds like the Sonic or the Avatar, the Final Fantasy.
The Sonic, the other world stuff in Magic. Did you know that the Magic community complains about this shit incessantly too, even though it sells very well?
Pokemon One Piece have been dominating as well.
Funny.
Maybe the alternatives in every other game just feeling better than Yu-Gi-Oh right now is having that effect to decrease demand. And with the decreased demand, oversupply causes prices to plummet.
Yeah, they hate them.
But they sell well, it's not a good thing for Yu-Gi-Oh, right? It means there's a problem somewhere.
Do they really?
And it's an actual problem that's affecting the community. And I want to show you guys one other opinion, kind of going over what may be happening on Yu-Gi-Oh. Now, this is from Ollie from Tier 0 Games. If you aren't familiar with Tier 0 Games, they're actually...
Yeah, that's funny is that the Final Fantasy set is like the best-selling MTG set ever. However, a lot of people who play Magic hate anime aesthetic. They love their MTG aesthetic, which is like all old and grainy and really like 1960s fantasy book cover, which is really funny because Raid Shadow Legends based its art off of Magic the Gathering, so they have like no pretty anime women in there either. Yeah, Western fantasy stuff. So when they were adding the Final Fantasy cards, they're like, "Oh, this is anime art style. This goes against everything," and it sold super well. And it's just like, maybe there's a reason that Yu-Gi-Oh has like, you know, just pretty anime women and boys as like all of their new archetypes.
My sponsor. So
maybe
sure
people want to buy good-looking things. Who knows?
Link to their store. They sell cards constantly, but notoriously they are fantastic for pre-orders. with the code Jesse5.
Hatsune Miku in Magic? Yeah, Hatsune Miku's in Magic too, but they also complained about that as well. Don't worry.
I show these guys my appreciation because they've been a great host for me for the last 9 months now. I've been on the team, or 8 months. And yeah, make sure to check them out. But anyways, Ollie is the owner of Tier 0 Games, and he is a huge vendor in the realm of Yu-Gi-Oh! So he does have a lot of.
You should react to "Should the TCG adopt OCG rarities too?" video.
Share it to a broader audience. So I've seen a lot of opinions about the current state of Yu-Gi-Oh! Product.
Remind me after I go through these videos I have in my log.
As soon as opened tens of thousands of booster boxes over the last 7 years, here are my thoughts on the rapid demise of Duod. The set itself actually isn't that bad. It has a lot of what we typically look for. New archetypes that'll be popular to some point. Interesting, though currently weak, TCG exclusive deck, and playable cards across multiple rarities. And yeah, I obviously shouldn't have to back it up, but I'll explain more from my thought processes. Because I'm also a Yu-Gi-Oh! Vendor, albeit to a smaller degree than Ollie, and I've done it for probably about 7 years myself.
A Yu-Gi-Oh! Vendor.
From Duad specifically, the new archetypes that'll be popular at some point, we're referring to the potential behind Art Mage cards, because
what the fuck is Art Mage? I've never seen this before.
This could go up in value in the future. That creates demand.
I should let you guys know I only play Master Duel. Oh, I got rid of the line.
And does, in theory, lift prices up. The people opening the set need to have value, otherwise they're not going to buy the product. And again, that goes back to the root issue of supporting an ecosystem that is Yu-Gi-Oh!
It's the new Albaz?
TCG
oh!
This one's a bit fishier because you don't know this when you order the product. Rebel bots, who knows how good they'll be. They have the makings of potential.
What the fuck is RB?
Constant theme among TCG exclusive decks. And then playable cards in the immediate, right? Holly Sue for Vanquish Soul obviously is an impactful card.
Holy Sue won a big event recently. This deck right here single-handedly made Vanquish Soul better.
And mustn't be understated. The Sky Striker cards are somewhat playable as well, but
I don't know what it does, though, but apparently it's really good.
However, it suffers from a recurring issue in Yu-Gi-Oh! Sets at the moment. Without a new staple or potential staple, a set is only as strong as its best deck. And this is where the current problems are really starting to show. Since April, we've known Justice Hunters was coming. And with it, what now appears to be the top 3 decks of the format by a wide margin. So he's talking about, with Justice Hunters coming out in about 2 weeks, we're going to see 3 Tier 1 strategies come out of it. Vanquish obviously has roots in older sets, but the K9 cards, which are highlighted in the deck and really propel it to the top status. Draco Tail, a deck that was dominant before Vanquish K9 came out in OCG because they had a different set release order. And then Yummy, a deck which is kind of competing with Vanquish Soul right now as the second best deck, and in some cases arguably even better. But still, those are the 3 decks that all seem to be very relevant into the upcoming format. It's all Justice Hunters. We see a complete meta shift and a sort of change in life cycles in Yu-Gi-Oh! That happens often. With the change in cycles over to Snake Eye, change in cycles over to Malice Ryzeal, and now we're shifting an entirely new
Booba K9 is really good
in Yu-Gi-Oh! And obviously it's not format because there are different ban lists within these formats, but you see different cycles and lifespans of these sets and decks. It's a bit atypical for what you consider in a card game. So how do we fix this? No idea. If I had the answer, you'd probably be making the games instead of just selling them. But a lot of the ideas are already been mentioned. Better rarity distribution. We all want affordability, but there needs to be balance. Lately, too many strong cards are printed in low rarities, and
I just have to pause right here because like all of the fancy edits he does make these videos so much more expensive to produce. That's all I think about. Like all of the over editing stuff, I just think like it definitely makes the video look nice, but I just keep thinking of, man, that must be such an expensive video to do.
There's so many rarities
because all these extra edits cost money.
Rarity also being a tin promo. Yeah, I don't like that solid rares have gone from being this chase thing to 4 centuries became way too.
Especially how long is the video? 20 minutes? Oof.
Affordable, and then they become every 10, and now solid rares aren't really special. And you can say it's cool for the player base, but collectors need to have a place in Yu-Gi-Oh! They need to still be appreciated, right? And they've been leaving in droves. And here's the important one that I really wasn't that kind of thinking about until Ollie brought it up. And that is better power balance across sets.
Look, my videos are simply edited on purpose. We can easily get editors who do this kind of stuff too, but that would make the videos cost 5 times more. Why would I do that?
Owners really need all 3 of the best decks in the game.
Watch at 4 times speed? No.
If they were split across 3 releases, all 3 products would sell. That's even without touching the power creep problem. So this is interesting because it's It's kind of what Master Duel does, right? Because think back to Tier and Sprite. They weren't released simultaneously.
Master Drool.
Think to even in the current era, Rizal at the time recording this has not even been announced in Master Duel. But Malice is out, where in the TCG this entire new cycle and wave came at the same time. It means that the sets before Justice Hunters don't matter. Therefore, why would people invest in them? Why would they buy cards from them? They know will be obsolete so soon. So that kind of premonition of Justice Hunters coming out creates this like stock market like trend of forcing product prices down.
Damn, this
The problem,
pack
however,
sucked.
is if you release these powerful decks over several releases, is you might find yourself in more frequent Tier 0 formats and give less choice to the players, because until all of those powerful decks come into rotation to create that new Yu-Gi-Oh cycle, you end up with what you have like right now in Master Duel, where Malice is just far and away the best deck. And if you do that with every sort of power to create that new Yu-Gi-Oh cycle, you end up with what you have.
This is the uncensored artwork.
Like right now, Malice is just far and away the best deck. And if you do that with every sort of powerful release, then you'll end up with constant pocket formats. It could also mean that Yu-Gi-Oh just needs to change its product mapping like for the entire year altogether. Maybe they don't release so many sets. They already have slowed down, which is good, because releasing junk sets is not okay. This right now, it's a weird state. Ollie does add some closing remarks though. More than anything, he thinks Yu-Gi-Oh needs something new. It's not flexible right now. Yep. It only has one format they can rely.
Who's Tier 0 Games? I don't think I've ever heard of this person before. Are they like a pro player? What a discerning eye you have, Mr. Logs. Hey, I know about these things because of research purposes. No clue.
Reliably sell cards, and that's top heavy. Casual play seems to be disappearing. I don't run an OTS. I don't know about this. I know the locals enough, and it's hard for me to say, but me running a channel that has a lot of casual content, I don't know how true this is. It may just be that it's more shifting towards Master Duel because it's more friendly for
So he's a pro player, and he just said he doesn't go to locals. Do you know why that is? I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys do, actually. So I read, there are some books on Amazon written by pro Yu-Gi-Oh players, and it basically talks about how to be a pro Yu-Gi-Oh player. And one of the tenets they talk about is that you need to create a dueling like pod. No, not smell or anything. It's just you need to create like a group of people who are like-minded in deck testing, and they will allow you to get more duels in faster. So it's like if you go to locals, you can get like 5 duels in over a 2-hour period, or you could get like 100 duels in the same amount of time with just a pod that you created with like-minded individuals who are all at a higher skill level. And this is generally one of the big reasons they're able to perform so well at events, is because they just have way more experience than everyone else because of these pods.
it. As well as it's easier to play on a
That sounds so boring.
which makes sense.
That's what you have to do to succeed. If you want to win, you can't have fun. Having fun is for losers.
Final point in your never-ending thread. You think that death in the anime is the biggest loss. We always had this to push products, and because of that, it feels like I have to retrain anime cards so many times, even they rarely feel special anymore. So that's something I also didn't really think about. We used to get excited a lot more for DM support, Blue Eye support, Red Eye support, and while we still do, the lesser appreciated ones, like even hero support, it's less monumental now. It's almost
That's the dub. You can tell it's the dub because she's censored.
ones, like even hero support, it's less monumental now. It's almost commonplace in Yu-Gi-Oh, and they are kind of just repeating tired themes of sorts. It's a lot of things to ponder on, because it's not an easy solution. If Yu-Gi-Oh had an easy solution to this problem, then I'd hope Konami would do it, right? They have to be aware of this problem. This is not something they can just sleep on. This should be DEFCON 5. Konami needs to address. This should be a bigger problem than prizing. This should be a bigger problem than maybe one bad YCS or whatever, because this will have huge impacts. Now, this is just one.
I love all these Yu-Gi-Oh's broken. Here's how it could be saved with Konami. Just listen to my video essay. Yeah, there's lots of things Konami could do to make the game better and sell more boxes and packs and everything. But nobody understands why Konami does most of any of its business practices, because you would think they do business practices because they're greedy and want to make money like any other corporation, but you'd be surprised to learn that's not really the truth of the matter, because they do a lot of things that make them less money for no reason. And it's baffling. We don't really understand why Konami does things sometimes. It would be a lot easier if it was like Magic the Gathering, where Wizards of the Coast is just doing things because they're greedy and, you know, they just want to get as much money out of everyone as possible. So, like, all their business decisions make sense with that front. But with Konami, that's not the case. And we're just, like, baffled at why they do things sometimes. And it's to the point where I just kind of don't question it.
I want to show you guys the more full effects of the market. I'm going to go through some of the tabs I've opened here. Duelist Advanced boxes. If we look now, I think it's maybe even a couple hours over date. It may be even less now. It's dropped another 40 cents. Look at this graph. This is abysmal. This is below cost for OTSs. There's some OTSs that are smaller will buy only a little bit of product to support the local scene.
Maybe I should buy some of these boxes. Holy shit.
Community, like Gamer's Choice, Tier 0. I'm not crazy large, but I order a large amount of product.
Holy shit.
When you're ordering like cases in the multiples of hundreds, I don't do that. But others, like the ones I mentioned before, will. Think of that loss, right? That's multiple times a year. That's really bad.
Does he own a store?
The work that all this is, right?
They don't let you buy boxes like that.
Money. So you can see why stores are discouraged. And it's not just Duelist Advance. Alliance Insight's even worse. Like, look at this box price. Prices are down here, and despite small little upticks, it's trending down.
Oh, that makes sense.
Maybe it's up from $34. It gets to the point that it's so low, people may just buy them out. And you see, I think that's what happened here.
Jesse sells online. They only let you buy at cost if you own a physical store. He runs an online store. I don't think they let you buy them for online stores. I think he might be buying them from like a third-party distributor and not from like the source, because they literally like will check your address to make sure you have a legit store before they let you buy from them. It's crazy. Like, no other products work that way. It's so weird.
A little bit, because when they're that cheap, it's just like maybe gamble on it for the future, but $38, this is nothing. Boxes being this low is pathetic. Supreme Darkness is not.
Just remember, boxes normally sell for like $70. So yeah, this is a huge drop.
Much better. This was before Justice Hunters being announced, so this may have some value to Ollie's theory, but this set was deemed as not great. Ready distribution on this made no sense. The Mitsu cards all low rarity, so no one really paid much for them, barring 2 Ultras, which ended up being a bulk of the price. And Eclipse Twins being super meant that most cards you want in the set, besides Meowls, weren't hard to get.
If Konami
so the set ended up
really
like
cared about their player base, they wouldn't. Even, right? Like, but they don't give a shit.
Had some QCRs, which they do.
Or maybe they do. Who knows?
Collectible price, and it does to some extent, but not enough to really bring it above a good price. And again, this is...
Look, I love capitalism in all of its forms. I would pray to a capitalist god if it existed. This is why I can confidently say that I have no idea what Konami's motivations are when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh product or Yu-Gi-Oh IPs, because a lot of the things they do just seem random. Sometimes they're very consumer friendly and it makes no sense, because other times they're not for no reason. It's like they flip a coin to decide how they're going to treat their things. How's your voice? Oh, my voice is still murked.
Still losing money after fees. That's not the reality. It's still work to lose money. And the side sets...
You're not a communist god. I love capitalism and the free market and selling loot boxes.
No different, right? Battle Legends, it did recover a little bit, but 51, 52, this is not profitable and it's still losing money. Now, thankfully, we are almost at the point where this can bounce back. And see, there is a couple dozen listed, but after that moves away, we do get to 57. This is not good. This is still not profitable for companies, but it's no longer sound the alarms level prices. This set does fare a little better because it has some more collectability with the chibis, the Blue Eyes Starlight Rares. Blue Eyes has been the only collectible card that, despite multiple high rarity prints in the last few months, has maintained a good price. The OTS Ultimate, the QCRs in
Yeah, people
Stampede,
fucking love Blue
the
Eyes.
Starlight Rare in Mayhem, and even the stamped one from the WCQ seems to be priced very well. So they're using it as a lifeline right now. And I get it, but it's rough. Now, you may say, but if the box prices are bad, what about singles, right? Because what if these stores open the product instead and try and sell the singles? Let's look at Alliance Insight. March Hare, most impactful card in the game, was $60 in release. Months later, $17.
That's still
and I know
expensive.
Nationals or WCQ has just passed, so they may have dropped a little bit as
That's
players
still a
just
lot of money
decks,
for a card.
But even before that, they were $20. Still, the best cards in the set cannot be that cheap. Even $30. Even $30. The most expensive card in the set is not a QCR. That's freaking nothing. And what if I change the filter here? What if I instead only show QCRs? Let's show how much QCRs are worth. There are some worth okay money, but so many of them are actually worthless. You can pull your 3 QCRs in a case and pull $45 in cards from QCRs. That's not collectible.
Yu-Gi-Oh's an expensive
this
hobby.
This is all so sad. Star Rise was a playable card.
I used to think Yu-Gi-Oh was an expensive hobby until I got into mobile gacha games. Yu-Gi-Oh is nothing compared to that.
Nothing. It's nothing. Now, you can argue that as a product of sets dropping in price, the game becomes more affordable to play. But this being the way we have reached this destination is nice for now and will quickly kind of derail, because the game will suffer in large as players stop playing or stores stop supporting it, and then as scarcity rises, prices move back up, and then Yu-Gi-Oh becomes volatile in prices. You'll have formats of incredibly expensive and worthless. That being said, I don't know if cheaper prices can fully be established with Yu-Gi-Oh being such a competitively driven game. I think the best way to do that is to have one deck be really cheap and other decks not be. That way people have options still to compete cheaply, but if you want to play different decks, they can do so. But still, myself looking to buy Yu-Gi-Oh product in the future, I'm heavily debating every choice now. Now, with this all said and done, we talked about how Justice Hunters is coming out and it'll change the format. So how is Justice Hunters doing price-wise? Well, it's not out yet, so we don't really have a clear picture just yet. We can look at pre-sale prices, and it looks good. This is still not like a point where I'm screaming, Yu-Gi-Oh save, there's a ton of profit. When I'm looking for a higher price set to make good bank on as a vendor, I'm looking for $80 plus typically. That's when I'm really happy with my
Yeah,
market.
75 is
Can't see
nothing.
here though the prices have gone up already, if anything, which is a good sign. It means there is demand here. It may give further proof to Ollie's theory though, that this kind of metric of released sets with us knowing the future leads to sets being like this is not a good thing. But this set looks fine. And maybe Yu-Gi-Oh is fine after all, but I'm concerned because this pricing thing is a huge problem. It is all part of, again, this ecosystem that is Yu-Gi-Oh and its health and its community. And when one thing falters, and by the data, it has faltered drastically, it's not long before other things gotta sink. As far as other fixes go, one other thing that may have to happen is a simultaneous release date for Yu-Gi-Oh products. The only reason we even know about Justice Hunters being so good, and it's for one reason. OCG gets the stuff way before us. It lets us pick and choose with our money, and it makes these products kind of bad, right? Because this kind of stock market type of speculation effect really can affect the market and hurt stores. Simultaneous would fix that a fair degree. And for all we know, Yu-Gi-Oh is doing that, right? Again, this is completely off of my own speculation. I have no insight on this. Do not quote me as an official source, please. But think about last core sets, right? Everything's been pushed back. The core set in the summertime used to be posted or published or released in August, but now it's early July. Last time it was mid-July. Think about the Halloween set. This time Doom and Dimensions. It's coming out in September now. We're moving sets closer together, and the time between us and OCG for core sets specifically is closing. I'm hoping this is a sign we're moving towards a simultaneous release. I don't know if the logistics are significantly harder for Konami for that. I don't know if this will actually help the game, but It would help us with having more interesting formats at the start of set releases. It would help the game sync up for just
Yeah,
sake.
massive
And I think it
hopium.
might help the sealed product thing as well. So it's a good fix in theory, and it might actually be what's happening. So interesting to
You know, I think Konami is not financially motivated to release the TCG at the same time as the OCG. Because Konami loves to see which cards do well in the OCG, and then they bump up the rarity so they're harder to get. And they do this so consistently that it doesn't really make sense for them to release them at the same time. Because then they couldn't screw over the TCG by bumping up the rarities of good cards.
kind of take note of. But that's all I have to say. And I'm curious what you guys have to say as well. Do you think this is all a bunch of bullshit? Do you think this not matters at all? How do you fix it? Do you have other reasons for explaining this? It's
Is that the whole video?
a subject, and I hope that we have answers because
Why is Yu-Gi-Oh in trouble?
I've mulled over the idea of switching card games before, but I don't really want to. And if Yu-Gi-Oh dies, I would not have a choice. So I'd like to see the game stay healthy, and hopefully you guys agree too. But also let me know if you want more discussion videos like this. Discussion videos are hit or miss because it also depends how topical they are, and they're not always going to be a good discussion to work on. When there is something important to talk about, I feel like I want to spend the time to express my opinions, because I played this game for 20 years and I've also been involved in the community at a deep level through several avenues. I've been a coach. I don't know why I said that first. I've been a competitor and in the local level, at the ICS level, at the world's level. I've been a vendor for the last 7 years, and I'm a content creator. So I really see almost every aspect of Yu-Gi-Oh! And this one is the one that's struggling the most for now. But with that said, guys, see you next time. Hopefully for many more years to come.
Yu-Gi-Oh is dead. I don't get it. Why is Yu-Gi-Oh dying? I watched the whole video and I'm just like, because it had one bad box? But they always have bad boxes. Is it really that big a deal? He just said, thank God he clarified. Did I miss something here? It's just like, you know, Konami released a bad box and hopefully they release product at the same time, but we know they won't because there's no reason for them to do that. Yu-Gi-Oh's dying because fewer shops are supporting it and fewer players are showing up to smaller tournaments. Yeah, but he didn't say that in the video. The argument is that stores won't buy the product, which will kill the game at the local level. True. Sorry, but most of the super rares nowadays are mostly glorified commons. Are they? Is the MBT video next? No, it's at the bottom, and it's Farfa's content nuke. Okay, well, that's Jesse Kottons Yu-Gi-Oh is in trouble. Yu-Gi-Oh should have multiple casual formats for modern cards with easy access. Right now, the game state is like riding a bike, but the only way you're able to ride downhill is racing at full speed while course changing every 2 months. That's just burning people out and you'll crash and frustrated sooner or later. If Yu-Gi-Oh had more formats, I think that would help a lot. But they don't like to do that. Isn't low rarity good? It is for the consumer. So to use Raid Shadow Legends as an example, like they have the main game mode where you can use every single, you know, like card that is available at all times. However, they have some side content that is equally as hard, but they severely limit like the cards you're allowed to do. Like imagine they had a mode where you were only allowed to use zombie monsters and it was just as hard as like the main mode, or you had a mode where you were only allowed to use Edison format stuff. Like creating restrictive constraints creates a brand new format which keeps things fresh. And the fact that they only have one game mode still on Master Duel is just I just need the people at Konami to play Raid Shadow Legends and they'll understand how fun it is to create different game modes so that we have more than just ranked traditional mode. 2000 life mode. Yeah, like imagine a whole format based around that. Okay, well, let's go into the Ruxin video next.